Hi guys, I'm Dale,
And I'm Ree.
and today we're going to be listening to Tim Minchin's Storm, the animated movie. Yeah, last time we listened to Thank You God, which was an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about some of the contradictions with faith and believing in the Creator and stuff. I think that was it opened up an interesting dialogue.
It was interesting, yeah.
Even in the comments as well. So I'm excited to see what Storm is going to be about. And this is an animated movie as well, which we've never seen from Tim.
Inner North London, top floor flat, all white walls, white carpet, white cat, rice paper partitions, modern art and ambition. The host's a physician, bright bloke, has his own practice, his girlfriend's an actress, an old mate of ours from home, and they're always great fun, so to dinner we've come. The fifth guest is an unknown. The hosts have just thrown us together for a favour, because this girl's just arrived from Australia and she's moved to North London and she's the sister of someone or has some connection. As we make introductions, I'm struck by her beauty. She's irrefutably fair, with dark eyes and dark hair. But as she sits, I admit I'm a little bit wary, because I notice the tip of the wing of a fairy tattooed on that popular area just above the derriere, and when she says, "I'm Sagittarian," I confess a pigeonhole starts to form, and is immediately filled with pigeon when she says her name is Storm. Conversation is initially bright and light-hearted, but it's not long before Storm gets started. "You can't know anything. Knowledge is merely opinion," she opines over her Cabernet Sauvignon vis-a-vis some unhippily empirical comment made by me. Not a good start, I think. We're only on pre-dinner drinks, and across the room my wife widens her eyes, silently begs me, "Be nice." A matrimonial warning not worth ignoring, so I resist the urge to ask Storm whether knowledge is so loose weave of a morning, when deciding whether to leave her apartment by the front door or the window on her second floor.
I really like how it's like he's just talking.
Literally.
Yeah, getting like the streets kind of vibes. I like how she's just like poetry on a jazz beat.
It's so interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, and I like these rhyme schemes he's using. They're really cool as well. Like very
Keeps going. It's like I like how fast it is though, and like the animation's able to actually like create the story and keep up.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah,
Things are moving
up.
quite fast. Let's get back in.
The food is delicious, and Storm, whilst avoiding all meat, happily sits and eats as the good doctor, slightly pissedly, holds court on some anachronistic aspect of medical history, when Storm suddenly insists, "But the human body is a mystery. Science just falls in a hole when it tries to explain the nature of the soul." My hostess throws me a glance. She, like my wife, knows there's a chance I'll be off on one of my rare but fun rants, but I shan't. My lips are sealed. I just want to enjoy the meal, and although Storm is starting to get my goat, I have no intention of rocking the boat. Although it's becoming a bit of a wrestle, because like her meteorological namesake, Storm has no such concerns for our vessel. Pharmaceutical companies are the enemy. They promote drug dependency at the cost of the natural remedies that are all our bodies need. They are immoral and driven by greed. Why take drugs when herbs can solve it? Why use chemicals when homeopathic solvents can resolve it? I think it's time we all return to live with natural medical alternatives. And try as I like, a small crack appears in my diplomacy dike. By definition, I begin, alternative medicine, I continue, has either not been proved to work or been proved not to work. Do you know what they call alternative medicine that's been proved to work? Medicine. So you don't believe in any natural remedies? On the contrary, Storm, actually, before I came to tea, I took a remedy derived from the bark of a willow tree, a painkiller that's virtually side-effect free. It's got a weird name. Darling, what was it again? Masprin? Basprin? Oh yes, aspirin, which I paid about $1 for down at the local drugstore. The debate briefly abates as my hosts collect plates, but when they return with desserts, Storm pertly asserts, Shakespeare said it first. There are more things in heaven and earth than exist in your philosophy. Science is just how we're trained to look at reality. It doesn't explain love or spirituality.
I really like this concept of a music video.
I can't, like, I'm really into it. I really want to know where this ends up.
Yeah, literally. I was thinking, like, it would be really cool if this was like a series.
Yeah.
You know, like a series you could watch, and every episode is like 10 minutes long.
That would be really cool.
Him talking about a story.
And that'd be so cool.
Some really cool storytelling in this.
How does science explain psychics, auras, the afterlife, the power of prayer? I'm becoming aware that I'm staring. I'm like a rabbit suddenly trapped in the blinding headlights of vacuous crap. Maybe it's the Hamlet she just misquaffed, or the 5th glass of wine I just quaffed, but my diplomacy dike groans, and the arsehole held back by its stones can be held back no more. Look, Storm, sorry, I don't mean to bore you, but there's no such thing as an aura. Reading auras is like reading minds, or tea leaves, or star signs, or meridian lines. These people aren't plying a skill. They're either lying or mentally ill. Same goes for people who claim they can hear God's demands, or spiritual healers who think they've got magic hands. By the way, why do we think it's okay for people to pretend they can talk to the dead? Isn't that totally fucked in the head? Lying to some crying woman whose child has died and telling you you're in touch with the other side? I think that's fundamentally sick. Do we need to clarify here that there's no such thing as a psychic? What are we fucking to? Do we actually think that Horton heard a who? Do we still believe that Santa brings us gifts? That Michael Jackson didn't have facelifts? Are we still so stunned by circus tricks that we think the dead would want to talk to pricks like John Edward? Storm, to her credit, despite my derision, keeps firing off cliches with startling precision, like a sniper using bollocks for ammunition. You're so sure of your position, but you're just closed-minded. I think you'll find that your faith in science and tests is just as blind as the faith of any fundamentalist.
This Ramadan, Palestinians like Moat and Hamza.
Wow, that's a good point. Let me think for a bit.
Shout out to Palestine as well, and peek at the situation. That advert reminded me, sorry. But yeah, it's very sad.
Any fundamentalist. Wow, that's a good point. Let me think for a bit. Oh wait, my mistake, that's absolute bullshit. Science adjusts its views based on what's observed. Faith is the denial of observations so that belief can be preserved. If you show me that, say, homeopathy works, then I will change my mind. I will spin on a fucking dime. I'll be as embarrassed as hell, yet I will run through the streets yelling, "It's a miracle! Take physics and bin it! Water has memory, and whilst its memory of a long-lost drop of onion juice seems infinite, it somehow forgets all the poo it's had in it. You show me that it works, and how it works, and when I've recovered from the shock, I will take a compass and carve fancy that on the side of my cock." Everyone's just staring now, but I'm pretty pissed and I've dug this far down, so I figure in for a penny, in for a pound. Life is full of mysteries, yeah, but there are answers out there and they won't be found by people sitting around looking serious and saying, "Isn't life mysterious? Let's sit here and hope. Let's call up the fucking Pope. Let's go watch Oprah interview Deepak Chopra." If you want to watch telly, you should watch Scooby-Doo. That show was so cool because every time there was a church with a ghoul or a ghost in a school, they looked beneath the mask. And what was inside? The fucking janitor or the dude who ran the water slide. Because throughout history, every mystery ever solved has turned out to be not magic. Does the idea that there might be knowledge frighten you? Does the idea that one afternoon on Wikipedia might enlighten you frighten you? Does the notion that there might not be a supernatural so blow your hippie noodle that you'd rather just stand in the fog of your inability to Google? Isn't this enough? Just this world? Just this? Beautiful, complex, wonderfully unfathomable natural world? How does it so fail to hold our attention that we have to diminish it with the invention of cheap, man-made myths and monsters? If you're so into your Shakespeare, lend me your ear. To gild refined gold, to paint the lily, to throw perfume on the violet is just fucking silly. Or something like that. Or what about Satchmo? I'll see trees of green, red roses too. And fine if you wish to glorify Krishna and Vishnu in a post-colonial, condescending, bottled up and labelled kind of way, then whatever, that's okay. But here's what gives me a hard-on. I am a tiny, insignificant, ignorant bit of carbon. I have one life, and it is short and unimportant. But thanks to recent scientific advances, I get to live twice as long as my great-great-great-great-uncles and aunts. Twice as long to live this life of mine. Twice as long to love this wife of mine. Twice as many years of friends and wine, of sharing curries and getting shitty at good-looking hippies with fairies on their spines and butterflies on their titties. And if, perchance, I have offended, think but this and all is mended. We'd as well be 10 minutes back in time for all the chance you'll change your mind.
That didn't feel like 10 minutes.
I couldn't even pause that.
Yeah,
man.
that didn't even feel like 10
I
minutes.
know you guys are probably thinking, why didn't you pause the whole time? But
Sorry, I was a bit sucked in. Because he never paused it himself.
yeah,
So,
it's just like you get so into it that you just need to keep knowing what's next.
yeah, and it was just going from one topic to another topic to another topic. But yeah, he talked about some interesting topics in this video.
I think a lot of people could be triggered by what he says.
Yeah.
But I completely understand his perspective.
Because he does challenge a lot of people's beliefs. I think, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
like,
he does.
You know, he's talked about auras and psychics and people that can talk to the dead.
I mean, that's his perception, because, you know, if he was to speak to someone that goes through that, it might be a completely different perspective they have. And I feel because he obviously kind of pinpointed that they're either like something or mentally ill.
Yeah.
I think that could trigger certain people because
he said they're either lying or mentally ill.
Yeah. And it's like, it's a perspective in it, like, because we would never be in their shoes and understand what they're going through. But from where we looking, or like, you know, he's looking, it's just like
insane, isn't it?
What you want about
it?
You get
I guess
me?
it would be insane, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you've never had an experience with that, which most of us haven't heard, you know, seen the dead or talked to the dead or seen colours coming out of people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I guess if you can do that and you experience that, I guess it is very real in that person's reality, you know what I mean? And I guess I think Tim likes evidence, you know what I mean? He likes he's not opposed to things, but it's like, show me the evidence and then maybe we can believe that. But
And I appreciate the fact that he speaks through and out of his own beliefs, and you know, sometimes it's good to hear other people's opinions, because sometimes you can get so caught up in what everyone says that it's nice to hear an opinion it's hard for some people to have that opinion too, because they don't want to offend people and they don't want to upset people. But I think that the fact that he's able to, you know, express his beliefs, it probably helps a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. And I think even articulating it in a form like this, you know, like as a poetic animation, like, it's a lot easier to digest, and it kind of captures a lot more attention, like the attention of those people that probably don't want to hear what he's saying in it. But even if I fully disagreed with everything he said, because of how skilled he's presenting the information, it makes you want to listen to the end.
Yeah, definitely.
And you get to understand all of his views, which is really cool. I do think it's cool that he just expresses himself and how he feels reality is, and asks, you know, the questions that other people aren't asking. You know what I mean? So I think I really liked him in that aspect, definitely.
How do you feel about what he says, like in your personal situation?
My personal situation.
On your views, like.
You know, no. To be fair, I respect what he says because I can understand it from his perspective.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All these things actually do seem insane. You know, like spirituality and you know, there being things bigger than us. You know what I mean? But it's like if we haven't seen, you know, tangible evidence that these things exist, then it makes sense not to believe in them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like with all, you know, with all the advances in technology that we have today. I guess for a lot of people, you need to be able to show them that this is real. You know what I mean?
I hear it. It makes sense.
Literally.
Because to the majority of us, we have life. We wake up in a bed every day, go to work, or we go on a walk, and that's it. You get me? So for some people, thinking that there's an external something or whatever else it might be can be quite intense, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's like they just want to appreciate what's here now.
Yeah.
Which I respect that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I also feel like, and I think there's definitely things I would argue on.
Yeah, definitely.
Because in a sense of like, he's talking about we're just a tiny piece of carbon, but to me, I feel like to us, there's something else that's tiny to us.
Yeah.
So we could be big to something else. You get me? A different cell or whatnot. So I could argue that we're a lot more than that.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're a lot more. Like, I think even just the fact that we're conscious beings and have the ability to make decisions and, you know, love, hate people. You know, you can. I don't know. I feel like we are powerful beings, to be fair, and we have the power to turn something neutral into something good or bad. Like, you know, you can take a piece of paper and write a message on it, and it can hold good energy, bad energy for whoever.
Even like you know when like you're thinking something and someone else says it.
Yeah.
Naturally, you're about to say it and they say it. You see them little like things that happen. It's like that's not just nothing. You know what I mean? Like those are actually things we're all connected to, and it's like we do have to appreciate that. But I respect his art though, because the way he put it made you paint a picture in your head. It's if you say a tiny piece of carbon, you're gonna bring yourself back on the world, and even the visuals matching that image was really cool as well.
Yeah, definitely. It does make you, you know, it does make you question your existence a bit, and I think that is a good thing to do. You know, to question why are we here? Where did we come from?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think when he was explaining, you know, how he feels like, you know, we are these little tiny pieces of carbon living this really short life, and then we just cease to exist. I thought that, I don't know, that doesn't, you know, for me, I always felt like that kind of belief doesn't feel, I don't know, it feels quite kind of meaningless. You know, if we were just like, we're just here right now, and then we'll never exist again. Let's say our consciousness just ends there. Like, I don't know, I feel like that would be quite a meaningless life. You know what I mean? It would kind of mean that nothing really matters that we do here, you know what I mean? Like,
it's true. But I think it does matter, you know what I mean? And even just the legacy you pass on to your children, and that matters, isn't it?
Definitely.
But I was thinking, like, in a sense of, it's interesting one, like, I don't know, like, he does make you think about things, innit? Like, properly.
Even if, like, I think, even if you don't take on his viewpoint, he does make you ask, you know, revisit all these questions and double think, why do I think like that? Or
because like with me personally, like the way I see things is that when she was speaking about like natural remedies and that, like I get where she's coming from, because I don't know, I feel like you have a problem, say like you've got a disease or a problem, and a lot of the times the doctors just like shove this down you, take this, take this, and all these medication can pile up, but then you're not observing and thinking, what am I eating? Like, am I eating natural foods, raw veggies and natural fruit and stuff? And a lot of times we're not thinking about what's causing these problems, and we're thinking about how can we fix them, but not fixing the problem that started it.
The diet and
You
stuff,
get me? Which would be those natural resources and whatever the earth naturally provides from the organic part of it.
Yeah.
Because he did say that, like, obviously one of the medications was natural and a lot of it is, but they've went through so many processes as well, and this is another kind of debate that you could have from this conversation.
Yeah. Because I guess a lot of people don't think about your diet actually being the medicine, rather than it's some kind of external thing that is separate to what you're intaking in.
Yeah.
When I guess, you know, if you did research fruit and veg and stuff, you can see that different fruit and vegetables have benefits for certain things, you know what I mean? So I mean, I would like to believe that, you know, there's natural remedies for everything, and we just don't know about those species of vegetables, or we're just not educated in ourselves to know all the benefits of those things, you know what I mean?
And I think that, like, you know, there's so far you can go, because like I said, you wouldn't have to take that stuff that the doctors are giving you if there was no problem to take it in the beginning. And it's like, you know, we've seen that video of the guy in Jamaica, and he doesn't drink water, he just drinks coconuts, raw veggies and fruits, and he's just so fruitful, like, and his energy's amazing, he's old and he's just bright, and like there's no problem. So it's like, how are we treating ourselves? And you know what I'm trying to say? So I think there's a different way that girl could have put that, like just talking about natural remedies and going in, because it's like, what is the deep core of what you're speaking about? Like, how can you explain this in the best way? You get me?
Because I feel like, if you was to address that situation, if you was to present that information to Tim, you'd need to have like sources and oh, well, did you know there was a study done on this fruit or this vegetable, and they found that it reduces this thing by this. You'd have to come with like sources and evidence to argue a case with like people like Tim, which is fair. Like,
definitely. I hear it.
That's the most credible thing you could do, isn't it?
Definitely.
But yeah, interesting. I think we got a bit sidetracked then, but you see, even this video has us talking about these subjects, which is like, it's why it's good, I think. But guys, let us know what you thought of this video down below, and be sure to keep recommending your Tim Minchin videos that you want us to see, and be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon to stay up to date with our latest reactions.
Feel free to follow us on social media. All of our links are down below in the description. Thank you for watching the video, guys, and we'll see you in our next one. Bye bye.
See ya.